Today our topic of discussion is menstrual cycle. So first, I want to discuss about about the reproductive physiology. So generally, the that menstrual cycle is mainly they are interconnected by the endocrine cycle, that ovarian cycle, and the luteal cycle. So first, I will discuss about the endocrine cycle. Generally, what is happening in the hypothalamus, there is a pulsatile secretion of the growth hormone, and that pulsatile is generally it can be sometimes high, it can be low, and generally this pulsatile secretion will go to the pituitary gland at that GnRH and stimulate the production of FSH and LH, and that FSH will go to the ovary and it will act on the ovary for the follicle growth as well as for
Mm-hmm.
estrogen production. And this cycle is also known as like hypophyseal axis, like HPO axis. So then after that it comes to the uterine cycle. In uterine cycle, as I told you, FSH will act on the primordial follicle, mainly on the follicular cells, and it will help to differentiate follicular cells into the theca cells and the granulosa cell. And then theca cell will generally secrete, they develop the receptor for LH, and after binding with LH, they generally produce androgens. They develop the receptor for FSH and they
Mm-hmm.
bind with the FSH and they will secrete one enzyme that is aromatase. That aromatase
Yeah.
will further act on that androgens and break it into estrogen. So generally we will see that estrogen secretion will be more in this case. So this estrogen
Mm-hmm.
secretion, now this that primordial follicle will turn into the primary follicle, and then that primary follicle will turn into the secondary and then tertiary. Okay, so after
Okay.
that, what is happening when there will be more FSH is now more. So now there will that tertiary follicle will turn into the dominant follicle. Now that follicle will turn into a dominant follicle where which follicle is having the more receptor for FSH. Okay, now that FSH will now is more, and the estrogen, as I told you, it is increasing. So this estrogen will send the negative feedback to the pituitary so that the FSH secretion will be less. And now the FSH will decrease. Now what is happening is, as the estrogen is send the positive feedback for the LH, and the LH level will arise. So
Yeah.
generally you will see before 36 hours of the ovulation there will be LH surge, and
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
LH surge, here there is the MCQ point I want to tell you. Generally they can ask you when there will be, what is the time difference between the peak and the ovulation. So generally peak means like when the
LS.
estrogen level is peak, and that
Mm-hmm.
estrogen at when the estrogen level is at peak, there will be the release of the first polar body. Okay, so the time between the peak and the ovulation is 10 to 12 hours, whereas the time between LS surge and peak is 20 to 24 hours. But if they ask you in general, the question like what is the time difference between the LS surge and ovulation, that is generally 36 hours. So
Mm-hmm. Okay.
now after the LS surge, the ovulation occur, the oocyte is released. What else is left is known as the, now that is no more we call it as a Graafian follicle, that is corpus luteum. And all you know that corpus luteum will secrete like estrogen, progesterone,
Progesterone.
inhibin B, and relaxin also. Now but the main secretion of the corpus luteum is प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन. अब ये प्रोजेस्ट्रॉन कैसे बनता है, आई वांट टू डिस्कस मोर अबाउट कॉर्पस ल्यूटियम हियर. Like the corpus luteum is nothing but it is a lipid body, and that's why it is
Mm-hmm.
known as the yellow body.
Yeah.
It contain lipids and
Cholesterol.
lipid, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this cholesterol will be braked by the activation of cytochrome 450. That cholesterol after the breakage will converted into the progenolol. That is a
Yeah.
precursor for the progesterone formation. So
Yeah.
that in this way the progesterone is formed more in this case. So if the fertilization is not taking place, what is happening to this corpus luteum? This corpus luteum will turn into the white body, also known as the corpus albicans, and that after like this there will be, obviously, if no more corpus luteum, so no more progesterone secretion. So progesterone level will all decrease, as well as the estrogen
Mm-hmm.
level is also decreased, and that estrogen, so if the progesterone is decreasing, now there is no more
Mm.
support to the endometrium, so you will see
Mhm.
the menstruation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now the estrogen level also decreases, and this will send signal to the pituitary, to the hypothalamus, so that again there will be the preparation for the new cycle is continuing in this
Correct.
way.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
is about the physiology.
Okay. Okay. So what
So
we get,
anybody wants to add
yeah,
something?
yeah. So we get what I get from it is that some hormones are responsible for the maintenance of this cycle, mainly FSH, LH, estrogen, and progesterone. Yeah. So hello. Yeah. So
Yes, we
all
are
these
listening.
four hormones. Yeah. So all these four hormones are responsible, and any endocrine defect may result into the failure of this cycle. So, can you please mention any situation when the cycle is not working properly because of some situation, some endocrine
Yeah,
situation?
in some, like in case of PCOS, you can see there is an ovulation. In generally in PCOS, there will be the small follicles are there, and those follicles are not growing. If they are not
Mm-hmm.
growing, obviously ovulation will not take place, because the or that oocyte is not attaining, that primary follicle is not attaining that much size for releasing the egg. So
Mm-hmm.
in case of
Okay.
an ovulation, we can see any abnormality. Even generally, the female who are taking the contraceptions, they're
Yeah.
like, for example, I want to discuss here some clinical point. Like sometimes the female used to take the OCPs, that sometimes they take progesterone, only progesterone containing or
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
estrogen containing. This is very
Mhm.
harmful,
Mm-hmm.
because generally
Yeah. Yeah.
only progesterone containing pills will leads to infertility, because generally
Mm-hmm.
the progesterone is having the amitotic action on the endometrium, means it will
Mhm.
not allow the endometrium to divide. It will
Okay.
stop the its division. So you will
Mm-hmm.
see if the female is like before 2 or 3 years she used that progesterone containing pill, so it can further in future it can leads
Okay.
to infertility in that female, because there is a atrophy of the endometrium. So
Mhm.
Okay.
generally for that purpose we generally use combined OCPs. If anybody wants for
Yeah. Yeah.
contraception, we recommend both estrogen and progesterone containing.
Progesterone plus. Okay.
Okay.
And what is the average age for the starting of menstruation? And
Starting age generally it is at the 13 years, but in general the if we are taking like from the average, it is from
mhm.
10 to 13 years,
and
13 or 6 years.
yeah, and if it doesn't start till the age of 16, pathologically we call it primary amenorrhea.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is
if it's
primary.
not starting till 16. So before
Yeah.
age of 16, the woman should attain at least one cycle of menstruation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even generally if a female comes to you and she's complaining like during its periods she is having pain, so it is a good thing, because and that pain during the periods we
Uh-huh.
called it as a like primary dysmenorrhea or spasmodic dysmenorrhea. It is good
Yeah.
because it will tell us that the female is actually ovulating, and
Yeah.
for us it's a good news, obviously. And if the female comes to you and she's telling like she's having the pain like in whole the cycle, like 28 days, like
Hold the month.
Mm-hmm.
throughout,
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
that is not
Mm-hmm.
good, because it it is the
Okay.
sign that she's having like something endometriosis or fibroids. So
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that case, we have to worry
For
about that.
pathological point of view, it is not very good. Mid-age female having pain, so we might suspect some
One,
tumors or something like that.
yeah, that actually just I was solving one question in the USM in that Kaplan book. So there was
Mhm,
one case, and they described that about toxic shock syndrome, and they said that there is, a female came and she said that she is having pain to last 7 days,
mhm,
and of that
mhm,
that bleeding start, and that was a
mhm,
pain. So early diagnosis, what happened that they said it may be normal pain as she mentioned, but
mhm.
7 day pain is not a normal pain. So
Yeah.
what happened that time? They go through the that staining technique and staining test. That was
Mhm,
the Desmin stain, and it was diagnosed that there is a fibroid deposition over the endometrium wall, and it is a
yeah.
kind of benign tumor.
Benign
So
tumors.
yeah, and there is few miscarriages occur because of this benign tumor, and it is
Mhm,
very common in African and Asian race women. So just I wanted to
mhm.
add that the immunohistological stain, that
Okay.
if there is pain more than 4 days, so it is going to be pathological.
And okay,
Yes.
we understood the benign thing, and it can also be a malignant tumor of the endometrium. We have endometrial carcinoma, and the features of this can be appreciated by constant weight loss, abdominal pain in the pelvic region. There is always pain, and the woman is losing weight, and he may have um, irregular menstrual cycles, and maybe she has the history of endometriosis also.
Usually
So
perimenopausal.
yeah, yeah. So the history of the woman should be known. If it is in the young age, it can be good, but a middle-aged woman
Mhm.
having pain in the pelvic region, losing
It's a
weight
bad
and
sign.
all, yeah, it may be a carcinoma, and maybe benign can be operated. It's very common, but as far as malignant tumors are
Malignant tumors
there,
can be
yeah,
dangerous.
it
Yeah.
can be very dangerous because of surgical point of view also. So, Costa, Michael, I like to ask you, like, do you know how does the malignant tumors can spread from the endometrium to other parts? Like the most probable part it can spread to.
Most of the time, endometrium shows local invasion most of the time, but the organ which is
Mhm.
right. But also in few cases, it has been reported to go via hematogenous routes
Mhm.
and involving the lateral wall, going to the rectum posteriorly, invasively. It has been
Mhm.
seen, and in that case, we need to go very much aggressive in our treatment.
Okay.
Just I had
So
one
I think
doubt.
it's. Mhm.
I had
Okay.
one doubt that if any female is that she has suffered from the hysterectomy and uterus have been removed, and if there is a case of pituitary adenoma, so
Okay.
what
Mhm.
what will be the effect over the body? Because pituitary adenoma will increase the hypothalamic and stimulating hormones, and
Yeah, it will release gonadotrophins more.
no, just I asked was what clinical symptoms will appear over the body of the that female lady.
See,
Okay.
most
Means,
probably pituitary adenoma is prolactinoma. Most of the times it is prolactinoma.
mhm.
So if
Mhm.
there is a hyperprolactinemia, she will come with infertility. Most of the time she will come with infertility, and even she will come with galacturia as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Yes.
LH and FSH they don't have receptors to act, so there won't be any action on the uterus and all because
Yeah.
FSH and LH they act on the ovaries and
Mm.
that.
Yes, because
Yeah.
Mhm.
there was one question, and I read there that a 25-year-old lady came in the complaint with galacturia, as Mr. Kostup, Dr.
Mhm.
Kostup said that
Mhm.
she came with the complaint of the galacturia and loss of libido and loss of vision,
Mhm.
and there
Okay.
is
Mhm.
mass over the sella turcica when they did MRI, and
What's
there is
the age? What's the age?
25
Because
year
it
old.
depends on the age as well.
Yeah, 25-year. And
Okay.
there was, and last sentence was used that there is normal level of T4, thyroid hormones.
Okay.
So just actually not answer point of view, as a common thinking, if we go to the general approach diagnosis. So it was a case of actually answer was the pituitary adenoma. So I thought that if there is adenoma or the tumor condition over the pituitary gland, so definitely thyroid hormone will also increase. But they said that no, T4, T4 and T3, these hormones will be at the normal level. I didn't get it that why thyroid hormone will be normal.
See, it depends upon, because the adenoma composition will also matter. If your cells of pituitary which produce thyroid hormone, they are causing the adenoma, then and then only the T3, then your TSH levels will increase, right? And
Yeah.
if it is involving only the cells which secrete prolactin, then you will have only hyperprolactinemia. The thyroid profile will remain normal. It depends upon what cells are building that adenoma, right?
So how to diagnose that? Actually, I think biopsy is not
Yeah.
possible to do the pituitary gland. Is it possible?
Biopsy is not done routinely if it is a very small tumor and you cannot catch it out on an MRI. Then we can think of going to a transsphenoidal biopsy, but most of the time we don't go for it.
So
It's
what will be
very
the gold
risky.
standard diagnosis for that when there is a
MRI. Most of the
MRI?
times it's MRI. And if on MRI, if it is less than 1 centimeter, we call it as microadenoma. And if it is more than 1 centimeter, we call it as macroadenoma.
So metro, definitely there is going to be surgical approach.
Microadenoma, yes,
Macro, yeah.
macroadenoma, it is going to be a transsphenoidal resection. And if it is a microadenoma, we try with bromocriptine first. If she's pregnant, then we can go for some other agents as well. But most of the times we try with bromocriptine. But if bromocriptine is not able to successfully reduce the size of that pituitary, then in microadenoma also, then we'll need to resect it.
Okay.
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 And Kaustubh,
Yeah.
the adenoma in the brain, it is benign, yeah. So, hello. Yeah, so adenoma in the brain, it is benign tumor, and benign tumor in the brain can be very dangerous. Like if it is at some other place, it won't produce any such big complications. But
Yeah.
brain and the surrounding structures are like that. That if that tumor compresses that, maybe it compresses some artery or some blood supply, it may result into local ischemia and the death of that tissue.
Yes.
So it should immediately be, operated or treated.
Yeah.
Also, I just also want to discuss a case like of my friend only. Actually, she was trying intermittent fasting for past
Okay.
20-25 days.
Uh-huh.
And she had also discussed with me about this, that because we have heard in our gym also that intermittent is not good for the women
Yeah.
because it can cause the calorie deficit.
Yeah.
So she made a proper diet plan, like as per according to her needs and as per her like whatever she can have the food, like she is vegetarian only. So and and she has been now skipped her periods for almost 4 days late.
Yeah.
Her periods have been and not yet came.
Uh-huh.
So like I was also researching on this a little bit, and that like I only get the information that calorie deficit can cause the nutrient deficiency, which can cause the delay in the periods maybe.
It's partly right, but Rishabh, the hypothalamus is the major controller of the menstruation,
Yeah.
and hypothalamus is also concerned with your, hunger, anger, and emotions, and many
Yeah.
vegetative functions, weight loss
Mhm.
also. So if you are doing some crash diet or you are taking such plans, and even fasting, so there is some disturbances in the hypothalamus, and that may
Yeah.
contribute to the hormonal disturbances.
Stress and
And
depression also.
each and every step of the menstrual cycle, it is very sensitive to the hormone levels. So
Yeah.
it is very common. Anything, maybe anger also, and if the woman is in emotional stress,
Yeah,
burdened
maybe
by something,
stressful. Yeah.
yeah. So it is very common that they miss their menstrual cycle. So the woman should be treated very nicely as far as emotions and hunger is concerned.
And one thing I would like to add about that infection caused by the Staphylococcus aureus. Actually, it is a very, I mean, high topic in the USMLE examinations because I have seen more than 5 questions. So in the toxic shock syndrome, the one term is used that is known as super antigen. So what happened at that moment? I mean, there was few case. I tell you the summary. What was that? Uh, a girl, I mean, sometimes a girl, they delay with their, changing their, because of situation, there is some, I mean, uncomfort situation or maybe emergency, so they did not change the pad. So what happened that they caused the infection of the staphylococcus aureus. And interesting thing is that there is 5 term which is used in this concept, and always asking the question that streptococcus aureus in that case did not cause the do not cause the bacteremia. Actually, blood culture did not do not show the result of that there is a bacteria present, but their vaginal culture is taken. And in question, there was one term was used, that dissemination of Staphylococcus aureus, and there was one another term which was a correct answer. It was infection through the Staphylococcus aureus. So conceptually, they actually super antigens. What they do, they bind with the T cell receptors, and that T cell receptors further bind with the MHC basal histocompatibility complex, and as a result, there is a super physiological product happen. Cytokinin level, sudden increase in the blood, and tumor necrosis. Actually, there is a marker of tumor necrosis also found at that case, and interleukin 6 and interleukin 12 also increase. So they show complex result diagnosis while going through the just only a bacteria. I mean, blood culture. I mean, blood test.
Yeah.
If someone directly see the blood test, so definitely that person will say there is viral infection. But to be precise, that is not a viral infection. And case was, it was like like that. 21-year-old lady came to the doctor, and she said that she's at the 4th day of her period, and she is having rashes over the skin, and lots of stress, and she's having vomit, nausea, and problem with the itching. So doctor thought that she is having some kinds of it may be like a gastrointestinal infection. But very important is that it is when we deal with the patient, or there is a question is, I mean, when in the real life actually, when deal with the patient, and if they that she is girl, then especially we should ask about that, is she having periods or recently she had, because there is a great chance of having staphylococcus aureus infection through the vaginal tract. So and another thing is that just I told in earlier that blood culture will show negative result for Staphylococcus aureus, but when go through the vaginal culture, this show the positive. So it has been asked many times in examinations, so I wanted to add it.
Okay.
Yatanjit, I had one question. You said that if the patient is symptomatic, we can go for investigations. But say suppose a middle-aged female is coming to me with uh, that she is not able to conceive, and you want to know whether she is ovulatory or anovulatory. Do you have any simple test to diagnose that she is ovulating or not in a village, in
Yeah,
rural
we can.
setting?
Okay, in
In
a
a
rural
rural setting,
area.
yeah.
We generally go for ultrasound
Interesting.
mainly, but for rural setting, we can't like we say as I told you, if she is having pain during his cycle, during that 1 to 5 days of cycle, if she is having pain, then we can say that obviously that female is ovulatory. Why? Pain can tell us whether she is ovulating or not, because generally the progesterone is secreting the prostaglandin, and that
Okay.
prostaglandin is generally obviously, as I told you, if there is a ovulation, obviously there will be the corpus luteal formation and everything will be there. So
Yeah.
progesterone will be there. So if progesterone is there, obviously there will be ovulation, and the progesterone is the only culprit for causing the pain also, because it is it triggers the activation of the prostaglandins, and then there will be vasoconstriction, and then you will see the pain. And obviously after the ovulation there will be the corpus luteum formation, so you can say. that
So, is there any role of pap smear in identifying whether she is ovulating or not?
No, we don't go for that things. Just we will go for simple ultrasound, and after ovulation, if we want to know that whether she has ovulated or not, at ultrasound you will see one appearance, that is a triple line appearance. So by seeing that you can tell she is ovulated or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the most common cause, Yatan, of woman is not able to conceive? Whether it is some hormonal reason or fibroids or something other. The most common
No, the most
reason.
common cause, now general. Actually, I have practiced in the hospital, so I have seen the women
Mhm.
usually who are infertile. They are mainly suffering from PCOS. So
Yeah.
main cause of infertility is PCOS, and other causes are like amenorrhea can also be there. It can be primary or secondary. The primary
Mhm.
can be lot of reason are involved in that it can be Mullerian agenesis, that is because of structure abnormality, maybe because of
Mhm.
Turner syndrome or any
Yeah.
congenital adrenal hyperplasia. There are a lot of reasons. And even pregnancy is for amenorrhea, the most common cause is pregnancy. So whenever a female comes to you, you first go for a pregnancy test if you are suspecting anything like that.
But that is a physiological thing, no? If
Yeah.
she's pregnant and she's having amenorrhea. But for example, a teenage girl is there, and she's now 17 years, and still she's having amenorrhea. So, seeing her history of development, there were no development of the secondary sexual characteristics in that girl. So it can be, our diagnosis can go towards the Turner syndrome also, because we'll see the breasts are underdeveloped in the female, and other secondary characteristics haven't appeared. So that can be the reason of amenorrhea also.
Yes.
Yeah.
In that case, we can go for karyotyping if you are suspecting any genetic abnormality. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and there can also be the cause. Kalman syndrome is the main cause. Generally, the Kalman syndrome is that there will be no proper growth hormone releasing cells abnormalities there. So it can also
Okay.
cause. If there is no GnRH, no FSH, no LH, so no menstrual
Okay.
cycle at all. So, guys, our meeting is just going to be ended.
Okay.
Just 5 minutes
And
are left.
guys, I'd like to ask you one important thing. The pregnancy test that we have, the kits of pregnancy test. What hormone does it sense to label a woman positive for pregnancy or not?
HCG.
Yeah,
It is
yeah, it's just there. So
best.
Rishabh already got it.
Yeah.
So that is, I think, very convenient method and
I
can be
just
used.
have a small
Oh,
thing to ask.
sometimes it also show false test. Even the female, it is not that much confirmatory. So for the
Okay.
pregnancy test,
Okay.
we will go for. It is better to go to visit to your doctor and having the blood test or urine test.
Yeah, but yeah, in the case of village setups or some places like
Yeah,
that, it is
household
more
females
convenient.
use that
Yeah,
test
yeah.
generally. Yeah.
Usually at home, it is a most convenient method.
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. So
So I don't think we have to give introduction this time, but we have to give.
So,
we have to.
guys, our meeting session is going to be over. So, thanks
Okay.
for participation. Thanks, all of you. And
Thank you.
everyone who are watching this, please subscribe our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and join us on Telegram. So, if you
Mhm.
guys are having any doubt, you can message us individually. We will try to answer your question. So, thanks. Can you
Thank
close?
you.